tried to record this video yesterday and it was just not a good video. I was feeling pretty down yesterday. I won't lie and say I'm feeling much better today. The world is a lot right now and it just keeps getting worse, and it feels like there's nothing that any one person can do to make it better. So yeah, fun times. If you're new here, hi, I'm Dana, a Midwestern neurodivergent author, and under the name D.L. Pitchford, I publish unapologetically honest stories about real characters. It has officially been 6 months since I started my channel, a little over now because I'm running late on everything, and that's fun. I kind of wish that I had asked for like questions on Instagram and stuff like that so that I could do a Q&A, but alas, I did not think that far ahead. Fun. Back in July, I already did a sort of like goals check-in for halfway through the year. So I'm not going to talk about any of that sort of stuff, but I do just want to have like a sit-down chat and check in with people. A lot's been going on in the world, and I have not been as active on here as I would like to be. But now that the roof is done and the gutters are done and we are slowly adjusting to new schools and stuff like that for my kids, things should be settling some, at least in my personal life. This week is the fall library book sale, so I went and picked up a few things. I always enjoy the Writer's Digest writing books. They're usually really good. Some of them less so, but most of them are quite good. So I picked up this one. I also found a copy of this. I have one of their other books, the 45 Master Characters, that I'm fairly certain I got at a previous library book sale. So I got those two writing books, and then I'm a slut for Norton Critical Editions, so they had a few, so I got Scarlet Letter. This isn't one I've ever actually read, but more than anything I'm curious about like the articles and essays after the text, which make up for, I'm pretty sure, more than half of this book. Here's the book, here's the essays. The other one I got is Classic Fairy Tales, edited by Maria Tatar. Guessing on how to pronounce that. I probably have copies of most, if not all, of these fairy tales already. I do appreciate how it's organized, though, where it has different sections for different versions. So the first section is all about Little Red Riding Hood, and it has the different versions, which is the story of the grandmother, which is the oldest known version of it. I'm curious how this compares to the version I have in one of my books, but it's literally 2 pages long because it's just a short story that would have been told. And then it has the different versions like Perrault's Little Red Riding Hood, Brothers Grimm, Little Red Cap. Those are the more well-known ones. And then there's The Little Girl and the Wolf and The False Grandmother. And then like this must be probably a Chinese version, Goldflower and the Bear, and then Roald Dahl, his Little Red Riding Hood and the Wolf, and The Three Little Pigs. So it has a bunch of different versions along with an introduction. So it does that with Little Red Riding Hood, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White, Cinderella, Bluebeard, Hansel and Gretel, and then it has sections with a few of Hans Christian Andersen's and Oscar Wilde's stories. And then it has a whole big criticism section. Anyway, I'm really excited about this, and I think it will be really nice to have, especially for my story, having all the different versions of Red Riding Hood all together, easily accessible in one book. So I'm very excited about that. And then the last book that I got is research. This was in the true crime section, which is a section I always have to check because there are usually some really good books there. This is the Victorian Underworld, which will definitely be very helpful for my Little Red Riding Hood meets Jack the Ripper story. I want it to be a series. I do. I have ideas for mini books, but I also can't commit to that because that's a big commitment. It's a lot. And I can get into that more next month when I'm going to be focusing on horror. So that is one of the things that I wanted to talk about is my plans for October. I have hinted about this, talked about it a little bit, about my plans for what I'm doing in the month of October, but I'm going to be focusing on only horror. I'm going to have at least 4 different videos, one of them being a writing vlog. I'm going to talk about my Red Riding Hood and Jack the Ripper whip. I also want to talk about all of my reference materials for this story because there are so many. I really want to dive deep into all the aspects of this story and how I'm fleshing them out and pulling from the different source materials. There is so much research that I have done for this story that I've been thinking about for a very long time. And I want to bring you along and show you all of the fun stuff that I'm exploring. This has been a project I've been thinking about since at least 2018. It has been on the back burner that entire time. I was working on another series, and then even as I was burned out, I was still like reading books and stories about it. I've done so much research for this story because one, I don't know enough about Victorian London. I don't know enough about Jack the Ripper. I don't know enough about like women in those time periods. There's been so much research that I've had to do for this, and I want to bring you along and show you all of the stuff. It's going to get dark, it's going to get heavy. There will definitely be some content warnings, especially on the video about research for this project, because let me tell you, the original Red Riding Hood folktale is not pleasant. It is dark, it is creepy, and I'm going to read it to you. So in order for me to be able to focus on the Red Riding Hood story and horror in October, I have a project that I need to get to a good stopping point. I am still in the process of reading through my draft and marking it up. This is basically a developmental edit because there are so many structural changes I still need to fix. I have made it more than halfway through the printed manuscript, but I am not to the midpoint yet, so that is one of the big structural issues. I need to flesh out the second half of the book. So what I need to do is finish doing this read through and making notes, and then the next step is to completely redo the outline. I think once I get to that point where I have a finished outline and it's ready to be rewritten, I will then take a break, work on the Red Riding Hood stuff, and then when that's done, I'm going to go back through the outline that I made, make any adjustments, and then dive into doing the next draft. That's my plan. I don't know if that's how it will actually play out though, because it's really hard to like determine where my focus needs to go, because maybe I get to the outline and I do the outline and I'm so inspired that I have to work on that next. And then I wouldn't be able to do this October. I don't want that to happen. Anyway, so that's where I'm at with this Billy book. I am getting closer and closer to finishing reading the draft, and then I will be doing my outlining. I might be able to squeeze in a vlog or a video about my outlining process before the end of the month, but I will not guarantee that. My brain and everything is moving so slowly right now that I'm not sure I'll have time for that. We'll see. My only other real author news is that the artist I have commissioned for artwork is almost done. He has completed most of the stuff that we talked about, and he's working on the final thing. So this is really exciting. The stuff he's made is absolutely gorgeous. I'm so happy, and he only has one last final thing to finish. Everything he's designed is absolutely gorgeous, and I'm just so happy. And I cannot wait to share it with you guys. I'm not sure when that will happen. I do want to make a video going through the process of commissioning this artwork and what kind of bookish merch I wanted to get specifically, why I like specific types of merch over others, what I think will work better, what feels more authentic as opposed to very corporate, because I've noticed a lot of indie authors have very corporate feeling merch, and it kind of just makes me sad. Anyway, I'm not sure when exactly that video would be, probably more at the time where I'm ready to like display this artwork that I've gotten from him. That's honestly everything I wanted to talk about. This video is a little on the shorter side than what I typically do, but it's nice to do something shorter and easier every once in a while. I like having my videos hover usually between 20 and 30 minutes. I like that length for videos. I think for like my watching, that's my preferred length. But it takes a lot of time to do that video editing. So something on the shorter side is definitely nicer. especially when this is not a video that will have a whole lot of B-roll. That's also nice. Anyway, thanks for chatting with me. I'm going to get back to reading my manuscript and doing edits.